What's up? Money Shots Monday. No Megan making money. She is on her way to Chicago. But make sure you guys head over to the Barstool Sportsbook and check out what she has got on the betting slate. And there's no NBA today. So I said, Cheah, don't worry about tomorrow. I'll bring on Cheah and Nadu. And he goes, why don't we do a show with Cheah and Nadu today? We got Bet Slip Gate. We're going to get to the bottom of all of the drama. You guys all had me in a tizzy yesterday. Two of my favorite guys at work going back and forth. I'm in a glass case of emotion. I'm getting hashtag Nadu crew. I'm getting Nadu's a liar. I'm getting Cheah and Cheah's a pussy. Mind your own business. All sorts of crazy things I'm getting tagged in. I'm going, I don't know what to do here. Cheah texted me this morning and said, I can't do the basketball show tomorrow. Why don't we bring Nadu on today? Nadu said, fuck yeah, let's do this. So here we are. Who wants to start this one off? Cheah, you just got done on the yak. Nadu called in. Did we have any sort of resolution here?
No, I think we're just seeing things from opposite sides of the fence. And I think some of this is misconstrued. And, you know, we kind of uncovered a little bit of that on the yak. And I think Jeff's coming from one side of the aisle, and I actually don't necessarily care about that issue. So I can kind of just back up and give you a brief history, and then we can kind of go from there. But so on Friday night, the Knicks lost. I'm a Knicks fan. I had Knicks season tickets for 10 years. I'm a fan of the team, obviously. They lost in 6 games to Miami. Immediately after, Jeff posted a video of maniacal laughter and then, you know, middle fingers, and the tweet just said Knicks. And as a Knicks fan, at that moment, I was triggered and annoyed, and I was like, whatever. But that burned. And that was, in, you know, Jeff's defense. That's the purpose of his tweet. He wants to get people riled up, and it worked. But when the Sixers lost on Sunday, and Jeff is a guy that has had Philadelphia allegiances and Eagles fan, he's tweeted about the Sixers. So I just responded to a tweet about talking about something about the Sixers immediately after the game with the video of him laughing. No caption, no nothing, but just like, hey, your team lost. You take your medicine, basically. And so I thought that was really going to be it. I think that, you know, at Barstool, it's a playful atmosphere. And, you know, if your team loses, not only are you open season for people to kind of go off on you, a lot of times you personally are blamed for that team and franchise's downfall. And so I was just giving them guff. That was it. I honestly didn't expect this to evolve into anything. I thought it was just going to be like fair, clean shot. That's it. But then it became, Jeff said that he bet the Celtics money line pretty big and he didn't care. And then I think I responded, fake fan, like real fans don't bet against their team. I understand emotional hedges and that type of thing, but in a game 7, like a massive game for the franchise where it could be if they lose, if they did, that, you know, maybe they blow it up, like pivotal game for the franchise in their direction. I would never do anything to induce any bad karma on the team, despite the financial gains. And I understand that, you know, from a betting perspective, it could make sense and maybe you have better insight on your team. I get that. I just personally would not do that. And then I think this is the part where I'm mad about. So Jeff goes and says that he's a bettor. He doesn't care about fandom. He's not and I did think this was funny the way you phrased it, nacho eating, foam finger having or wearing whatever fan. I'm not a fan. I do it all for the money. And that's where I have the issue, because it's fine if you do that. But then you do not get to celebrate if the Eagles win the Super Bowl. Like, you can celebrate your money line Eagles Super Bowl bet, but you have to take losses. And that's what this company is built on, the great successes and the big losses. And when you lose, you got to own it. And so far, I have felt he has not owned the Sixers loss. And he's saying because he bet Celtics money line. But then, okay, let me know where you stand. Maybe I misstepped because I saw you tweeting about the Sixers and you have Philadelphia allegiances for the most part, that you're not a Sixers fan. So just let me know where you stand so that when a loss for your team does happen, we can rub your face in it, because I need to know where you stand.
I want to jump in here real quick, just because I got the fake referee shirt on. This is the best thing I could find. So you guys leave me alone about my ugly shirt in the comment section. That being said, the comment section is going wild, which I had a feeling it might. Now, Cheah, what I said, and I opened the show and I meant this, I have immense respect for both of you guys. We all do things a little different, but I'm kind of in the middle of both of you and how I do things. I do have some fan allegiances. Have I bet against my team? Absolutely. In certain situations, I think that sometimes when you know your team, there are those opportunities to bet against them. And it's almost as if it's an emotional hedge. If you know your team well enough, all right, fine, they lost, but at least I won some money. It like kind of consoles you. I'm not as strict as Jeff is. Money isn't over everything. I would probably give it up a lot of money to see K-State win a national championship this year, but that is the fan side of me talking. Did I win a ton of money? On the flip side, yes. So there's kind of a weird balance here. Whereas I understand where Jeff's coming from, and we'll get to the bet slip here. Everybody in the comment section, relax, because guess who's going to get a text of the bet slip? Me, and I will confirm some things for you guys. But right before, Jeff, and this is what I'd like to get to, right before we logged on, there was a tweet from Cheah. And you do have a little bit of an emotional hedge that you made that you may have not told us about.
So let me, Stephen told the history about our back and forth. Let me explain kind of where I'm at as a fan of this team, okay? I've made no bones about it, okay? I love the Philadelphia Eagles. I always say that. As I get older, I just think you kind of grow up, and I'm not as – it doesn't affect my week like it used to when I was a kid. When it comes to the Sixers, though, my entire life they have been a losing organization. They've never won a championship. They have never surrounded their superstars with any sort of good players. That's just something they've never done. And as I've gotten older, I've grown to hate the organization, and it really bothers me. And I've gotten to the point where – if they do well, great. But, I've kind of established the whole, I'm just going to bet against them at this point. Call me a fake fan. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. They won last night. I would probably look real stupid. And I wouldn't go and celebrate. I didn't go to the Eagles parade. Okay. Like I didn't go to the parade. Okay. I'm not, there's certain things I know I'm not going to do. I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon if they win. I've always said that. I've been very clear about my hate towards the things they've not done, the mediocrity they've accepted as a fan base. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of the background there. As far as Kelly, you referenced the tweet Stephen put out recently. Okay,
I will say I was unaware of that tweet until the Yak. Someone sent that to me after the Yak conversation. So I had not talked about it because I'd never seen that before.
Fair enough. So yeah, back in November, obviously you mentioned the Harden stuff. When they got James Harden, I was pretty excited. I like James Harden. I thought, wow, finally we're gonna add a superstar with Joel Embiid. You get some solid role players. Everything's great. Obviously that didn't work out. Looks pretty stupid. Maybe I'm just a bigger fan of James Harden than most. Look, Steven, in the end, I do want them to do well. I just know they probably won't. So I'm going to make money off of it at this point. In the end, for me, I will never put any team over money. I didn't go to college. So I don't have a college allegiance. Everybody's different. Most people have that. I don't. So Kelly likes K-State. Obviously, she'd probably trade that. She's an alumni. I don't have those sorts of allegiances. And as I've gotten older, I've grown to realize I just don't really care that much about the allegiances. Do I want to see the teams do well? Absolutely. But it doesn't make or break my week, day, hour, or minute. It's just that simple. As far as the tweet put out, okay, I'll admit, I had a future. I have also a future in the Nuggets. And yeah, it is what it is.
Okay. So Jeff told me earlier he's going to text me a picture of the slip. I did get permission to get it. Now, I want to throw this out there. Nobody in the comment section, everybody asking to see the slip. You're not going to see the slip. We work for the Barstool Sportsbook, okay? Nevada does not have a Barstool Sportsbook. That's why when you see me go to Colorado, that's why when you see me go to New Jersey, that's why you see me go to Philly, you see me post the slips. Jeff has never really been one to post slips. We know Cheah lives in New Jersey. So when he's home, he's able to bet. When he's in the office in New York, he cannot use the Barstool Sports.
I do want to make something very crystal clear. On tape, my voice, no fucking, question. From this moment on, I will never post another bet. I don't ever want to do this again. So, I'm going to – Steven, look, you brought this out of me. I will make sure I do that so we have no fucking questions anymore. As far as the bet, if I had your number, I'd send it to you. I'll send it to Kelly. I'll send it to Dan. Go ahead.
I honestly, I don't care about the bet slip. I'm more about if you bet it or not, whatever. It's more about the fandom for me and how you were just shitting on fans.
I'll address that. Me personally, I've never hidden. I've always made it clear. I say what I feel and I say what I'm going to, whether it offends people or not. At my current age, I think it is absolutely ridiculous how people act regarding sports. That's just me personally. The Eagles lost Super Bowl. Within 2 minutes, I got to drive home and move on my Monday the next day. I've begun to like not understand it. That's just me personally.
Is that the only team that you will pledge your allegiance to? Is
Absolutely.
The Eagles? Okay.
Absolutely.
So
But again, Steven,
I'm a guy who likes two sports, so I get that. But like, I think that needs to be clear, because if you're tweeting about the Sixers and stuff like that, I get it doesn't emotionally affect you. And 2 minutes later, like whatever. But like, you have to, especially in this business, at this company specifically, you have to take a loss. And this could have all been avoided if you just took it immediately. And my intention was never to blog about this and ever. But once this stuff gets going, I can't not blog.
I'm just floored at how big this has gotten. Just admit, absolutely out of control.
When I posted like the whole "Hey, I bet the Celtics" thing, I was just making him. I didn't know if he saw that I did that before the game, right? Right. So like all I did here was I thought the Celtics, yesterday, I just thought they were in a great position to win the game. I did think it'd probably be close. I had the number 6. I bet the money line. I posted it. People could tell, whatever. Then I didn't think he saw it, so I posted it. I didn't want it to delve into like, look, if you like a team, like everyone loves sports, like throughout the world, I have no issue with it. But me personally, and this is one of the reasons like gambling caves, like I have a hard time with them because I don't really care that much about the team. Like it's more about last night. If I'm invited to gambling cave and I have to be there, I would have bet again. Like that's just the thing. Like, there are certain situations that put me in a bad position because maybe I don't look like a real fan, and I don't mean to be like that. It's just how I feel at this point.
Cheah, I have a question for you because you gamble almost every single day, as Jeff and I both do.
Yep.
So I understand the fan perspective, and then Jeff and I are kind of more on the gambling allegiance, right? Like, I haven't been to the gambling cave. I was supposed to when I came to New York, and K-State just so happened to be in the Sweet 16 and Elite 8, and so that kind of put a damper on my plans. But people have seen clips of me going absolutely bananas in a sports book or at home or whatever, because my allegiance is more towards money. Yes, there are some bright spots of fandom here and there where you're going to see me go bananas. But my question is this: how long before you lose a bet are you just like, I'm over it? Because for me, it's like Jeff said, like it's like 10 minutes. You got to move on to the next. But the K-State Elite 8 loss kind of stung for a couple of days. I'm not going to lie. I like rewatched the game. I was frustrated about some things, especially watching FAU in the Final Four. And that's kind of where I'm curious is, do you agree with Nadu? Do you just like let things roll off your shoulders? Because I do believe you have to live to bet another day, whether that's responsible gambling, your attitude on things, and brush it off quickly so that you don't allow those emotions to interfere with your next bet.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm probably the wrong person to ask this because I'm not a volume bettor. So I'm not going to have 5 plays in a day. I'll have one play.
I agree. Neither do I.
I'll put out one play per day that I'll bet publicly, and then I'll have 1 or 2 others, just kind of lottery ticket parlays or that type of thing. So losses get over pretty quick. I mean, the next day, I bet every single day the NBA's on. Now we're a little bit more sparse, but this has been pretty much every day since middle of October. So you get over them pretty quick. Some stick with you if it's a really bad beat or really bad loss, but no, like we get over them very quickly. But more the thing that will stick with me though is as a Knicks fan, that Game 6 loss and the official report comes out, it's like, 6 missed calls against the Knicks in the final couple of minutes. Like, what the fuck? How does this happen? Or I'm a huge Bucks fan, so the Bucks at Rams divisional game, and that game's going to stick with me for decades. So I
think that's fair. I'm still mad about 1998, but let's not get into that. Jeff Nadu, shoot me the ticket over. I think we're kind of just at a draw right now as the referee on the show. Jeff's going to send me the ticket for everybody asking to see the bet slip. Again, you guys are not going to get to see it. Just understand that it's very tough where we are, right? I grew up in a world, and when I mean grew up, I grew up in Vegas as an adult, and I had grown men that were my mentors, and they preached, Kelly, it's okay not to make a bet if you miss the best of the number. Kelly, your ultimate goal is to hoist that CLV trophy. Even if it doesn't win long-term, that is what you want. So when Jeff sends me this ticket, you guys aren't going to get to see it. You have to take my word for it. And that's just how it's going to be.
But remember, I will, Big Cat asked for it on the yak. He'll, everybody's going to get it that wants to, you know what I'm saying? Everyone that asked for it will get it. But Cheah, as far as this, I just will say, like, I guess we just, like, I will, if my team is in a precarious situation and I don't feel that the
Who's your team?
No, I'm talking about you. Like
Okay.
You like the Bucks, right?
Yes.
So if the Bucks were playing, like, to me, the way I feel about, like, you like them, you'll always bet them. I don't feel that way. I'm always
not necessarily. Like, if I think they're going to lose a game, I won't bet the game, and that doesn't bother me. I get joy out of their wins, and it doesn't have to equate to money wins for me. I get joy from seeing them do well.
Fair enough. And for me, it's just I'm really just caring about betting. That's all I care about at this point. I don't. If the Sixers would have won yesterday, I would not have taken a victory lap, because I shouldn't take a victory lap. I haven't been that fan-toting guy. So
all right, Jeff actually sent me 2 tickets. I have a ticket on the Celtics money line, and then I also have a ticket where he did a 2-game parlay.
Yep.
Cleveland Guardians
I like
with the Boston Celtics.
Correct.
So there are actually 2 tickets now in my possession. So I can confirm, and if you'd like, I can send them to Stephen Cheah as well, because I do have his number. But let's get on to the next series, you guys, because NBA has been an absolute money maker during the playoffs. I could not be happier, being very selective, finding some spots, tailing Stephen Cheah at the Barstool Sportsbook. Nadu, I want to start with you, because you already tweeted that you have a Nuggets futures series.
Yep. I love the Nuggets, and I love them to beat the LA Lakers as well. Steven, just give me a yes or no. Are you on that side or no?
It's a really tough matchup for them. I think it'll be a long series. I could see it going either way. If I had to pick, I think the Nuggets have better players, but I would not be surprised at all if the Lakers won. East, like, somewhat similar. Like, these two teams have played, like, I think 3 of the last 4 or 5 years in the conference finals. I could very much see a Miami redemption arc from last year when Jimmy Butler misses that 3. Boston's clearly a more talented team. Full transparency, I don't bet the overall games. I'll bet props in each. Marcus Smart over 2.5 boards, even though it's going to be a lot of juice, is the best bet in the playoffs. He said it twice in the last 27 games.
Here's what I think we can probably all agree on. I think the Nuggets are a slight favorite. They should be, right? Yeah. When we slice it down the middle between Jokic, Murray, LeBron, and AD, it's kind of a flip, right? Look, Davis, we obviously have to make sure he's healthy, because he is so important to how Jokic will perform. Jokic has destroyed every team he's played. We also have to say the Nuggets have faced too. Minnesota, they faced a team in the Phoenix Suns who were without Chris Paul. So there's a lot of good fortune they've had in this tournament, or in this finals, or in these playoffs. I look at the supporting cast: Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter, KCP, Braun, all these different guys. To me, I just rather have them over what the Lakers have. And again, give me Jokic over anyone the Lakers have. And I love Murray. I thought he was the major difference, obviously.
I think Jokic and Murray are the best tandem in this series. And this is kind of why I'm not going to bet the Nuggets for this series, is I think the Lakers just have more guys off the bench. Like, if you look at Denver, like Christian Brown, I like a lot. He won me a ton of money with Dave last year in the NCAA tournament. But he's not a guy that's going to get you 20. Bruce Brown, he's had some moments as a good defensive player. He's not a guy that's going to get you 20. So you're really depending on your guys, and you do have a great lineup. You got Jokic, Murray, he could score 40. Michael Porter Jr. certainly has his moments. Aaron Gordon, now they're playing a backup center, I kind of like that lineup a little bit more. But the Lakers, even like Rui coming off the bench, like, he's a guy who scored like 20 points in this playoffs. Like Lonnie Walker had 15 points in the fourth.
My thing, Steven, is
guys that can fill it up off the bench. So
how deep are you going to go?
Not be surprised if the Lakers won this series at all.
In Western Conference, in the finals, how long are you going to go deep? How far deep are you going to go on that bench?
I understand that the rotation shortens, but like Jokic is not playing 48 minutes. So like they have to survive these bench minutes where they do have guys coming in, and those guys, Bruce Brown, Christian Brown, are going to play minutes. So they have to survive those. And can they weather the storm and those guys on the bench? I'm not sure. But I also think LeBron is way past his prime, and he can inject himself as a scoring force when needed. But he really needs Anthony Davis and Austin Reeves and D'Angelo Russell to carry this team. And it's a big spotlight for Reeves especially.
I do side a little bit with Nadu here. I haven't decided who I'm going to bet on Tuesday just yet. Current series price, Nuggets minus 152 at the Barstool Sportsbook. Jeff tweeted out yesterday. He already bet it. I slightly lean. Now, I will do this little caveat. I grew up a Nuggets fan, was a big fan of Dikembe Mutombo back in the day. No longer do I have those allegiances after doing a little bit of work for the NBA. Current price, though, Nuggets minus 6 at Barstool and getting lots of love. Total 222.5. Cheah, do you have anything props-wise that you're going to be betting on tomorrow? Maybe you have circled, you're waiting on. Obviously, you got to drive home to New Jersey before you can bet it.
Yeah. One I'd look at is Anthony Davis over 2.5 assists. He's hit it, I think, in 5 of his last 6 games. But in his last 4 games against Jokic, he's had 17 assists, which is pretty strong. So that's one I'd look at, but we're finalizing. I might be taking an under. The fact that there's so many days in between can give, veteran guys like LeBron and stuff like that, gives them rest. So that's a whole other thing. I got to look into, who does best on 3 days rest. Is everybody okay in Denver with the altitude, that type of thing. So we haven't finalized the play yet. But what I will say is, this last round especially, and, coming up, there's so few games, the lines are very sharp. So
absolutely,
I would be very careful with that. Austin Reeves is another guy over 1.5 3-pointers I'm going to look at. He's hit it a couple of games in a row. So I'll see where we land tomorrow, but there are a few things that I'm eyeing.
There is one thing that works well for the Lakers. In the 4 games Jokic has played against the Lakers this year, they have kept him in check for the most part. I mean, 23 points a game, that's very good, but that's, Jokic is more up towards that 30-point mark. But it's all going to be about Davis. We know he's glass house half the time. So will he be in there? But Steven's right. I mean, it's all going to come down to, can you deal with those spurts that you're not going to have Jokic in the lineup? I think down the road, like into the bench, he's definitely right. Lonnie Walker, I mean, came out of nowhere, right? So,
Jeff, I have a last question here in regards to what you are doing. So you mentioned you have a futures bet on the Lakers to win the whole thing,
Nuggets.
or is it to win the West?
Nuggets.
Or, I'm sorry, the Nuggets to win the West, correct? Or to win the
whole thing?
thing?
To win the whole thing, 20 to 1.
Okay, so sometimes when you hedge, it makes sense. What you're doing is something that one of my best friends, Chris, does, and I don't understand it. I know that you're betting the series price, so it's not the same as winning the whole thing, but do you sometimes feel like you're doubling down, or are you almost kind of saying, you know what? I think the Nuggets win the West, but to have that ticket in your pocket kind of makes that a free roll for them to win the whole thing.
I mean, I'm looking at, obviously doubling down is great. And I could get into trouble if they both lose, because if they lose this series out, they're both out. But I can double down on profit. I really like this Nuggets team. I think obviously having Jamal Murray healthy this year is so huge to what they do. I love Michael Malone. I felt like this was a good spot for me to double down and grab the West and the finals. So
all
yeah,
right, so
if we lose, I'm out.
I know you're not going to post a ticket because you said you're never posting another ticket again.
No,
on Twitter.
I going forward, any daily pick that I put out, I will never not accompany a ticket with it. I'm done.
Okay.
I'm tired of it. I don't want to do that anymore. So.
Okay. Sounds like a plan. Are you going to have a play on tomorrow's game? Looks like everyone is healthy except for, well, now, of course, I don't have it handy. I apologize. There was one guy that was questionable for the Lakers tomorrow. I think it was Mo Bamba, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
Yeah, that doesn't matter anyway.
Oh, it really doesn't. But sometimes it is important. Mo Bamba is questionable Tuesday, still having that ankle issue. I just wanted to make sure that you were locked and loaded for something tomorrow to give the Money Shots audience in your debut.
Well, I think I've been on here before, Kelly. I was almost.
Have you been on Money Shots before?
I think it was when, I think it was when you. Yeah, it was during the
Megan.
Yeah, NFL.
Oh, I was gone. Aha, that's my bad.
You know what's so interesting? I almost wish I could be featured in a better light with college football and college basketball, which is more my kind of thing, Kelly.
Don't you worry, Jeff. Kelly's got a whole list of ideas
Yeah.
I got ready to call producer Jack. We're going to have a big meeting. I cannot wait for football season, 17 weeks.
In the end, I think, Steven, real quick, we Big Cat mentioned a bet challenge. It's a good way to end this. Have fun. Steven's a very good NBA bettor. I think we've made that clear. I don't think anyone will dispute that. As far as, am I playing this game? No, I'm not playing this game and I haven't played it. I think game twos are a great way to kind of get ahead of the markets. We kind of know what we've seen. I think the Nuggets will probably win. I thought the number was a tick high, maybe. But hey, Sharps have bet it up to 6, so obviously makes makes me kind of weary a bit.
All right, same. I think the line is just a little high. I'm going to monitor it for the next 24 hours. I'll make sure to tweet out if I do have a play on this one, but I might end up on the Heat on Wednesday. Already circled to keep an eye on that one. Stephen Cheah at Trust the Data at Stephen Cheah, Cheah Nadu at Cheah Nadu on Twitter. Thank you guys for coming and settling this debate. I'm going to call it a draw here.
I'm not sure we settled it. I mean, listen, Steven's right.
I think we came to an understanding.
Yeah, Steven's right with the fandom thing. I've never made any real bones about it. And people can still, they'll destroy me regardless. So it is what
I mean, that's
you're on
what
the
we're all
record.
here for.
You're on the record after the yak for being pro nachos now.
Just
listen,
I think eating nachos at games is,
I am pro nachos, but not that shitty yellow cheese fake shit that they serve at basketball games. I am pro like going to a Mexican restaurant and getting some bomb nachos that are nice and evenly layered. Not that.
Kelly, it's like going to Philadelphia, ordering a cheesesteak and you put fucking Cheese Whiz on it. I mean, it's just, it's really an abomination. Yeah, I don't eat that either. You eat that in prison. That's where you eat that.
Oh boy.
I'm glad we can agree though.
Wait, Kelly, before we sign off, I got one more nachos question for you, Kelly. If you're out with the fellas and the fellas get some nachos as an appetizer, what do you think?
We're at a restaurant or we're at a basketball game?
Restaurant. You're at a table and
we're all sticking our fingers in it?
Yep.
Oh, I don't give a shit.
Okay.
Like I literally was just with my family all weekend and my cousin was yelling at her son not to double dip. I go, bitch, that's mine. I'm double dipping. If Brody wants to double dip, he can. And she just started laughing. I'm not a germaphobe. That stuff doesn't bother me. I also hope that I hang out with a lot of people that don't have disgusting fingers. But if you're touching on your side and I got my side over here, let it go.
The Mean Girls came for the nachos first and now Nadu's coming for them. So it's been a rough couple weeks for nachos.
I like nachos, just no shitty cheese, like some olives on it, some really, just
jalapenos, some good ground beef, but I want it layered.
Absolutely.
Like I don't want a chip with just nothing on it that turns soggy. Like it's got to be, there is just some real art to nachos, and I feel like we just fail miserably as Americans.
Hey, Steven, I'll tell you one thing better. I do not eat at games if I ever go at all. I like to eat before the game. That's just my thing.
I don't hate that.
I would agree with that.
There are better restaurants around. I like eating at the game, but if you eat before, I don't think that's a crazy move.
Yeah, I think that most stadium food is absolutely and utterly atrocious. I need a few beers before I can eat a stadium hot dog, like just full disclosure. I'm dead serious. I am so snotty anymore. My favorite go-to food at a baseball game is I dump my peanuts in my beer and eat them. I know. I like salt.
That's the weirdest thing we've heard today.
I know. It's odd. One of my friends started doing it like a decade ago, and now that's my thing. It's just weird. It's because I like salty beers, and the peanuts provide it, and then it makes them less messy because they're now wet. I don't know. Let's not get into it.
We got the next Mean Girls clip.
Next Mean Girls clip. Thank you guys for tuning into Money Shots today. We will be back on Thursday. I believe I'm going to get with Megan. She's en route to Chicago, so hopefully she's getting nice and packed up, settled in. Stephen Cheah, Cheah Nadu, thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Later.